20th, yeah, the 20th August is around Zondas.
If we can just keep them up and flowers through homecoming, that would be so nice. Because so many people will be here.
That was our goal.
Yeah.
We watered Saturday morning.
I watered the hanging baskets today because they were drier. The one in front of you savings. Such a water sucker.
Such a good camera.
On Saturday afternoon, we used it for cookies.
And I really changed my mind.
I live in the country. So you go to the app. You go to the app and I'll go to the
Cherry does.
I was here at 7.
No, I ran Center on back to the church for Paul, and then I just came back. Because I needed to get that done too. And then Ann checked out, gave her table cloth, yes, so I just put mine on. Do the rest later, I guess.
Call the meeting to order, Monday, September 17th, 2018. Roll call, please.
Delaney.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Schott.
Here.
Swaggin. Here. Kane. Anderson.
Here. Everybody was sent the agenda on Friday. I have one change I'd like to add under item number 10, discussional information items, HRC. Motion to adopt.
I would like to remove the second reading under old business. Second reading and adopt from ordinance 05-2018 supplement to the budget 2018 budget. I'd like to remove that from the agenda.
We're going to put that off to the next meeting, right?
Yep.
Shall I make a motion to adopt the new agenda as Nathan stated?
Go in a second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Boone to approve, or to adopt the agenda. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes were sent out on Friday afternoon for September 4th meeting.
Erickson moves to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Boone to approve the minutes for September 4th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No public hearings. Move on to visitors to be heard. Pat, are you two people today?
I'm one.
Okay.
But we will change Rob to Patty Kramer.
Okay.
He has an American Legion. I just want to give you some updates. I wrote out, but I didn't get a copy for everyone tonight, so Nathan, I'll give you a copy, and Jerry, I'll give you a copy, just an update. The title of it is just Rural is Not Dying. And the Beresford Area Chamber of Commerce now has met with Shine, and they'll be meeting again Friday, and this is the personal and professional development for people in business. We've got some new faces. Everything Beresford website, we're securing funding at this time and moving forward. The interstate signage, Jerry, we've talked about, that's going to be up in the next, week?
Yep, just gonna have the Development Corporation look at it on Wednesday, and then we will start right after.
Okay, great. That'll be up then in time for the big homecoming weekend. The Beresford video is now up at Travel Back Roads Today, Driving Passion to Go Loco. That is Joan, the Economic Development Director, also owns that company. And then the fifth item I wanted to report on is more and more the need for a cafe or a morning place for breakfast, coffee shop, fresh salads, wraps, Beresford Pub, some type of coffee shop with homemade grub in historic downtown Beresford. We hear so many people, women, coming to Beresford. We've got a whole new dynamic with our Adding Lane. We've got more younger women coming to town. These women all support each other in their businesses, affirming each other, and they'll go, where's to eat? Well, the more you have of something, the better it is, you know? So we're just saying we are very much supportive of a downtown place for a pub, a family place, a gathering space. And also an update on, we've got about, I think, 8 people now that are going to be serving on the family celebration for next summer. It'll be a family celebration and try to be as less expensive as possible so families can join and be a part of something without it costing a lot of money. So those things are all being discussed and talked about now. And then the next pages are just research that I've done with other rural communities on supporting the heart of a community, which is your historic downtown, and that 2 groups of people want to move to rural communities, millennials and baby boomers. And how do we attract them and provide support? Any questions? And if any of you want this report, just email me, patmcgill5. I just didn't want to give you something you hadn't asked for. But I wanted to give you folks an update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Weevick. I don't know if any of you know me. I'm president of the now defunct Forward Downtown Beresford. I want to thank you for allowing us time to speak tonight. I love history. I love historic buildings and cemeteries and railroads and basically all things new. I love the charm and character of old buildings, and I love downtown Beresford. I'm not from here, but I'm just as passionate about this town as if I were born here. Which is why I became alarmed in 2009 at the apparent exodus of downtown businesses to locations near the interstate. Although it was a sad trend to see, it was understandable. Downtown was dying. Not only were the buildings in dire need of repair and updating, there was very little traffic, and downtown lacked the charm and appeal, and to be honest, a sense of community pride, value, or cherished history of other historic city centers. So in 2010, I attended a seminar in Hardington, Nebraska, on my own, on downtown revitalizations, in the hopes of gaining some insight into the causes and cures of diminishing downtown economic growth, and it got me fired up. So shortly afterward, I contacted then Mayor Jim Pedersen, and we formed an organization called Forward Downtown, and in the hopes of breathing some life into our downtown. And when I started this group, my husband and many of our friends said, you might as well bang your head against a wall. Downtown is dead, and you're wasting your time. And that made me mad. That mentality is what kills churches and downtowns and organizations and businesses and dreams. It's defeatist, and in my opinion, it's lazy. Several years ago, our church, Rosine Lutheran, hired a new pastor, Pastor Stan Jervik. At that time, our church was dying. The pastor said, our building was outdated and in need of repair, and we questioned our future, the wisdom of even staying open. And Pastor Jervik didn't suggest building our membership, which is what you would think would be the first thing you would do to revive a church, is to build your membership. He said, invest in your building, invest in your church. If you believe it's dying, if you can't justify investing in your own church, how is anyone else going to believe it's worth joining or saving? And he made a lot of sense. And in that same respect, our downtown is the same way. We can't expect people to move into our downtown if we're not willing to invest in it ourselves. And so we, as a church, we changed our mindset. We updated, improved, invested, and they came. You know that saying, if you build it, they will come. Over the last few years, I feel Forward Downtown has accomplished a lot. We've attracted several businesses to our downtown. We beautified it with flowers, organized events such as the Light Up Beresford Light Parade and the Santa visits and tree lighting. But after years and years of monthly meetings and fundraising and working and planning and planting, finally Forward Downtown reached a point where we could do no more. We were just banging our head against the wall. And we're just volunteers. And we have no real power when it comes to enacting actual change. Like enforcing code violations, adopting new ordinances, creating new downtown business incentives, things like that. So we folded. But just because we aren't meeting anymore doesn't mean we don't care. We've just done all we can. A few years ago, I contacted other successful downtown revitalization organizations, and one leader came and toured our downtown and gave me some insight into what was most glaring. And his first suggestion was to invest in curb and gutter and sidewalks and street lamps, pretty ones. All right, sorry. Our downtown looked shabby and neglected and forgotten. And granted, it looks much better now with flowers, but flowers can only do so much. Another thing I've learned is that those communities with thriving downtowns don't depend on volunteers and individual business owners to buy and plant and water and beautify their downtown. The cities do it. I often wonder what would have happened to these buildings if these people here, who now own and operate businesses, hadn't trusted their community and their friends and their city enough to open a business and invest in our downtown. There seemed to be, at that time, before Forward Downtown and before these people moved in, there seemed to be no forethought into the future of our downtown's buildings and its history. Would we have just waited for the buildings to become so dilapidated and dangerous that we would have had to demolish them, like some have been already? Where would it have ended? I feel I've devoted a lot of my own time and money and sweat toward the improvement and growth of our downtown, and I don't have a vested interest here. I don't own a business. I don't own a building in our town. I'm just someone who cares. That's all. And without I just can't do any more. I've done all I can. And without the city's help, I feel like that I've done all I care to. So I think the rest is up to you. And I hope you feel that our beautiful downtown and the preservation of its beautiful historic buildings is worth investing in, and soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patty Kramer, Flowers by Bob across the street, and this month is actually our 35th year in Beresford, so we've been around a little while. And I've been in that building across the street since 1990. What we've come to ask you tonight as a women's group in an downtown organization, Women Plus Rob anyway, downtown organization, is we want to ask for some help. We're willing to meet you folks halfway if you'll just give us some help. You'll notice that we've planted up and down the street. We've got a lot of time invested, Jeannie especially. She's really been the waterer. And the rest of us have been the bucket brigades. But they won't stay alive without the water. Now, we've been a little concerned because when you tell us to take the truck, we're not insured for that truck. And it worries us. What we'd like to propose tonight and ask if it's possible, and you kick this around for a while, but is it possible to hire someone who part-time for an hour, 5 mornings a week to water, take the money to pay their wages out of any monies you're willing to give us to plant, because we are doing some fundraisers on our own also, so we're not relying entirely on you folks. One of the things that we do want you to know is that you have the equipment and all these things, but we just need the help. These flowers don't go unnoticed. Centerville's development gentleman was over the other day and talked to me about how to get that instituted into their main street. My customers from Lenox come into the shop in Lenox early in the morning and say, why can't you do this in Lenox? So they don't go unnoticed. We do have plans to change the situation of the flowers. We're not going to rely on anyone else to water the boxes. If we have a box in front of the building, that'll be the business owner's responsibility to plant, water, care for. We will only have the ones out on the edge of the street, which is the 8 hanging baskets. We now have 6 of the big cement planters, and we have ordered 6 more, so it's only 20 planters. We very much doubt it would take even an hour to water them each morning, because I know Ginny can get done everything in an hour. So I doubt it would take much more than an hour. So we're just looking for you to back us up with this. Get us somebody who's insured on that truck, because we're concerned. And I guess that's what we're here to ask for tonight. We also have plans for some banners that we're working with the FFA group. And we're doing our best to make it look nice downtown and make it attractive. We want to keep our businesses open on Main Street, but it means we've got to attract people here. And that's why we're asking for help tonight. Thank you.
Got a question, Patty?
Yes.
The ones on top of the awning would not be included?
No, they're not included. They are also the business owner's responsibility. Anything that wouldn't be a hanging basket or a big cement planter, next year will be the business owner's responsibility. It would not, nope, it would not be any part of the city's
And Rob
job.
watered those himself.
He watered them himself this year.
Okay, no, that was the only one that I was thinking of. All right, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Are you,
That's it.
that's it?
it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
No department head reports. Oh, sorry. Mr. Voss, apologize.
I'm Jerry Voss, been here with Lions for 20-some years now probably, and been around bothering you guys probably sometimes you might think, and having a little fun, but we're here for a good cause as far as serving Beresford in one way, okay? And Lions is the largest service club in the world. I come here tonight for 2 different things. One reason was to see if we can help Beresford in any way, as far as the Lions Club is concerned, because we did quite a few things already, but bring to our attention, and we can probably work that part out, okay? The other thing is, I'm looking for more members in our club. A lot of our people in our club are getting pretty old. Don't move very slowly. You try to see me, I'm driving a cane, you know. So, what I'm doing is asking for a little bit of help from the Beresford, and I figured you guys might be one of the people who could do that, you know. Just gives you a little information about the Lions Club is concerned.
Thank you.
And tells you what we do. I'm sure you've all heard of Lions, haven't you? Some of the biggest things are diabetes and environment, hunger, vision, and childhood cancer. And from time to time, you see the Lions have different events for these different areas. As far as we're collecting eyes every day, we're collecting our glasses. We're collecting glasses right here next door in the banks. We screen the kids' eyes, make sure they're okay before they start school. In the meantime, even after that, we support people that say have a child and they can't really afford glasses. The Lions go ahead and buys them for them. And the other parts of that kind of stuff is concerned. We have pancake feeds. We have the craft fair, which is one of the nicest craft fairs around in this community, I think. So I got the applications. If anybody wants to join, it tells you here what we do. We meet at the library on the first Thursday of every month. And we go over our thing as far as we serve, okay? Thank you.
So we just contact you if we're interested in applying?
You better believe it.
Joining? Sounds good.
I do it here in Beresford, and I'm also on the district, I'm the district membership man also, so. I'm a politician, just like a lot of us are, okay?
Well, thank you.
Is it all right if I sit and listen to you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Appreciate it. We have no items for department heads or committee reports. Moving on to old business, second reading of adoption of ordinance 01-2019 fiscal year appropriations.
Just, you guys have another copy of that, nothing changed since, the last meeting, so, I guess I don't plan on going through all of it again, so I would just ask if you guys are okay with everything there, we can go ahead and have a motion to approve.
Shall I make a motion to approve the ordinances Jerry signed stated?
Erickson second.
Motion's been made by Schott, seconded by Erickson to approve adopt ordinance 01-2019 fiscal year 2019 appropriations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Update on the full-time police officer position recruitment.
Yeah. First time we didn't have any applications at all. So we're continuing to run some ads. We reached out a little bit further, a couple different, 3 places that we could put the information on. We got that out there. And ironically, the day Larry came in and told me that we didn't have any, I had a guy call from another town that was looking for possibly changing employment. So he was going to submit an application, but at this time it's open until filled. So if you know of anyone that might be interested in it, please. Obviously, we want to hire certified if at all possible. It's just very costly if we have to send somebody out to peer for training. So if you guys know anybody that might be looking for that type of work, we try to move forward rather quickly if we can find a certified officer that qualifies.
What's the cost for certification?
We pay them to go out there. It doesn't cost anything for certification. The state puts them up in the dorms out there and everything, and they do all the training. But we have to be the sponsors, so we pay for them to drive out, drive back, and while they're out there working. And Troy, tell me, is it 3 months now? Does that sound about right?
17 weeks.
17 weeks that they have to be at school to get certified. So if you can find someone that's certified that's looking for a different job in a small community, we should like to find those type of people.
Have you offered any incentives? Either for certified officer, I know like the highway patrol will offer, I think it's a $5,000 bonus, not to say we would want $5,000, but
We have not went down that route yet. This is the first time we haven't had some certified officers apply, so we're just kind of, I suppose with the environment that police officers work in these days, everything's questioned. I suppose it's a little harder to find people that want to work there.
Why are we going the certified officer route? I know we'll save some mileage money, but it's my understanding that they have room and board at the school. And I don't think we should eliminate that as a...
And we don't count. It doesn't say you have to be certified. It says certified preferred on the job advertisement, so it encourages anyone to apply that would want to be into that profession. So.
In addition, where are we advertising?
We advertise in the Municipal League magazine. We advertise at the Department of Labor, which is down in Vermillion. We are in the Republic and the Star. I asked Larry to put it out amongst his police group, the people that are, they have their own little listserv that kind of serves everybody. Any police chiefs can share it. Of course, how many are going to share it? They don't want to lose anybody either.
Have we put it on our social media sites?
Yeah, we've got it on Facebook already, put it out there, so 6 or 7 different places right now. Of course, we have ads at City Hall here also.
Okay, thank you.
Do you think we're gonna get some interest?
But we have the one guy called up here, and so we'll see if we get an application out of him.
Anything else?
No.
I wonder if we can find a contact to send it to the Air Guard base in Sioux Falls. Do they have certified officers? Do they go to the law enforcement academy of any sort?
Not in the state, they go to the
Security police.
security police school in Glencoe, Georgia, or wherever it is, but
I just wonder if you have folks up there, they do have a large security forces group. I wonder if you might have some interest in somebody doing that as more of a career outside of the guard.
Dr. Peterson would be a
That's what I'm gonna call.
source.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Next item, hiring of part-time certified police officer.
Yeah, we have an application just for part-time work from Patrick McGawley, McGawley. He currently lives in Harrisburg. He is certified. He's got the 13-week certification. Looks like he's still pursuing a degree in criminal justice and political science down at USD, while he's also working part-time in Sioux Falls at Esurance, which is an insurance company, doing some customer service work up there. So anyhow, we'd like to put him on. He's an EMT. He is also, firefighter or not. And he's a firefighter also at $19 an hour is our starting wage for certified part-time.
Should I make a motion to hire part-time certified police officers, Jerry Simon stated, for $19 an hour? Part-time.
Delano second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Devine to approve the hiring of part-time police officer Patrick McGawley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business contract with Community Partners Research for the housing study.
I'll give you guys a copy of that, and I've had Tom review it too. Similar to our last time when we did our housing study, it is going to be in the city's name. That's where the grant came through the city from the Beresford Community Foundation. So HRC will pay half the remaining cost, and Bedco will pay the other half. So I've got a grant for $3,500, and it's $6,000 total. We just need to authorize Nathan to sign that so we can go ahead and get them started. And we're probably about a month and a half from actually having them start the work anyhow.
So we can make a motion to authorize Mayor Nathan to sign the professional service agreement.
Shot second.
Motion made by Schwagen, seconded by Schott to approve the contract with Community Partners Research. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Filing of plats resolution to authorize designated official to designate or to approve plats in lieu of governing body approval.
Yeah, Tom and I were visiting a while back. I think if you look at the email, it comes back from November of 2016 about filing plats and things like that. One thing that it seems like the last couple that we filed, the people were hoping to get it done within a relatively short period of time. Sometimes it can run 4 to 6 weeks by the time we have planning and zoning approved and city council approved. And there is a statute, 11-3-6, which would allow the governing body by resolution to designate an administrative official of the municipality to approve plats in lieu of approval by the governing body. So I think it's something we need to, I'm just going to bring it up to you guys to see if that's something we can go forward with. Most times, by the time you get them, we've looked them over pretty closely at City Hall and done everything that way. So if you guys are willing to go that route, we would sure think would help expedite a lot of things down here, especially for some of the people that come in and want to get these plats. Because what we do is you sign off of them, they come in on Tuesday morning, then they got to haul them to either Union County or up to Canton, or California or Canton, and they have to actually file them themselves. So they're responsible for getting the plat created, they pay for that, and then they have to actually file it themselves too. So we're just basically signing them off and saying it meets the guidelines for the city of Beresford. That's about all we have to do. So.
I have a question. Is this more of like a notary thing, or is this more of a that person's gonna need to,
No, it's just, I could do that, or anyone down here at City Hall, finance officer could sign off on.
and is it only gonna be ones that are time sensitive? Or would the
It'd be
rest
all
come
of
in
them.
here?
It'd be
Or
all of them.
It'd be all of them, yeah. And most of them don't take much, I mean, it's just, yeah, 50 feet to your lawn, whatever it is.
We talked a little bit, there wouldn't be no impact to zoning changes?
No,
Changing
not at all.
one use to another use?
If they come in and want it to be zoned, that's something that's not there, then they have to go through that whole process.
And like variances, those would go through?
Correct, yeah, that's all separate from this. No, I'm just gonna come back, we'll have the town will go out to a resolution to our next, we'll talk about the best way to handle it and stuff like that. But I thought I'd just run it by you guys, well, this last one kinda got kinda cumbersome, the guy was hoping to close on a house and everything, and so it kind of got a little bit backed up for him. It turned out okay, but it's just, it took longer than what it should.
Can we make a motion right now to, so the resolution could be properly prepared?
We'll just have it prepared.
So you come back with resolution?
Yeah, we'll just come back with a resolution in writing for next meeting
Yeah.
for you to vote on.
It designates who.
Right. Do you wanna just, is that what you're trying to get at? Who do you wanna have do that? Is it finance officer or administrator?
Finance officer.
Okay,
And I would move with the concurrence of, I move to have the finance officer sign off on the, as approving official to approve plats in lieu of the governing body.
I don't think we can do it without a resolution, right?
that's what we're gonna get a resolution.
I'd like to see it
together.
right now.
Okay, I withdraw my
Yeah.
motion.
So we'll do it with the finance officer listed as the designated official, so.
Any additional comments, questions, concerns? Low-hanging branches over city streets and alleys, we talked about the contract. Have that done?
Yeah, we've done this, so I don't think we did it last year, but we've done it several times. We've hired Donnie Christensen to do that. We found out that for us to go around and cite 200, 300, 400 different places that have trees that overhang the streets, takes quite a bit of time, a lot of effort. We spent last time, I know, over 3-4 days just going out and driving around trying to find them all. Then we mark every tree, then you gotta have to send a letter, and if they don't cut it, then you gotta go hire someone to cut them and follow them around so they can show them which ones to cut. It got to be pretty cumbersome, so we found it was just easier just to advertise in the paper that we're gonna be doing it this week. If you don't want Donnie to do it, you can do it on your own. We're gonna cut them over the street to a height of 17 feet, and we'll just, and then our guys we would actually follow behind and pick up the branches. Last time I think it took 2 or 3 days for him to do it all. He's gonna do the alleys this year too, so.
Why 17 feet?
16 feet is what our ordinance says, so he goes to 17 feet.
So we don't send specific letters out, it's just a
We
public notice?
we could do that, but it just, like I said, it's administrative, but we spent a lot of time last time.
We
I
just
just-
paid for it.
Yeah, we would just pay him, and we have taken it out of our property cleanup budget, which is out of the planning and zoning, as it turns out. And right now, we haven't spent anything on that out of that particular budget, so we would take it out of there.
I guess I would maybe just add if we could put the notice not only in the paper, but on Facebook and Channel 8 or something, because I did actually get a specific, last time we did it, a specific comment by somebody that said, well, I wasn't notified, they came and cut my trees, I didn't appreciate that. So I mean, if we can do something to, if we're not gonna specifically notify people, to get the word out in a broader aspect, they're aware of it.
Yeah, and that's what our intent would be, is to at least, he wants to be done before he heads out, sometime October 1st is when he's leaving town, so he would like to get started rather quickly. So we try to put it out on Facebook. I think it's probably
So if you
the
see
way to
it,
get most.
share it.
Share, yeah.
Were there concerns last time it was done?
I guess I didn't hear any, but did you girls hear any concerns when they were going around doing it a couple of years ago? I didn't hear anything.
I heard a couple, they said thank you very much, they appreciate it.
I just had one specifically, I should say one that, she wasn't really impressed that they just came and cut her trees, so.
You know,
Well,
we used to
there,
have,
there is a problem with some are decorative trees, and you go up and just hack them off like a tunnel. I don't like that aspect of it. I mean, if they're old maples and grove ash and elms, like, fine, but.
No, I think as long as we do our part to get the message out, that's all I know.
you know, our electric guys used to do it, and we got complaints because they weren't didn't do a good enough job, so that's why we hired Johnny. He does that full time for a living, so he understands trees and how they grow and all that kind of stuff, so. But if you guys are okay with that, I'll just ask for a motion so we can go forward and we'll get the.
Shall make a motion that the low-hanging branches over city streets and alleys for the city to hire a contractor to remove branches at the height of 17 feet. We prefer Donnie, as Jerry Simon stated. We also would like to have notification is in Facebook and wherever else we can put any type of notification so that the city owners of the real estate where the trees are located will be notified to the best interest that we could apply.
Erickson second.
Motion been made by Schott, seconded by Erickson to approve removal of low-hanging branches. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Update to the manhole repairs on 3rd Street.
They moved in last Monday, pretty much to set up, you guys are pricing setting up all the bypass pumping and all that kind of stuff. And got started on Tuesday, Wednesday kind of, but, I think that one took a little longer. That was the deepest one we had, and then one was in the worst shape, so, that took a little more time to get that one done. We thought they were gonna fly on this one, because it's like 2 or 3 feet shallower. They got down there and it's full of rocks, and there's a bunch of concrete, big concrete that was buried underneath the road at one time, so they had to go get another excavator, a little more heavy duty one, and they're trying to break up the big concrete piece that's underneath the road right now so they can get their trench box in. So anyhow, I just brought that in tonight, so we were hoping it'd be a couple days with this one, then maybe another couple days and be out here by Friday, but we'll see what happens. Obviously the goal is to have it done by Friday of this week, and I know they will be here probably every day as long as it's not raining too hard. So anyhow, that's where they're at. It's getting done. We've got a few people, the girls, you've had probably a few calls on it and stuff, wondering when it's going to be opened up. I know there's some buses coming down to town, I think, on Thursday. And obviously we'd like to at least have this intersection open so that they can go over. I think they're going to park right over across the street here, so we want to get it opened up by Thursday so that those buses can get in and drop all those people off downtown. That's where we're at. We're just, they're here. They're not going to leave until they're done.
You don't see any likelihood that that's going to carry over to next Friday, right?
I sure hope not.
Okay.
But the band
It's supposed to rain all day.
director was in this afternoon asking.
Because then we're going to have some concerns. Any questions? The HRC, there's been a position open on the HRC commission for some time now. And I have an individual who is interested, and I'll pass out resumes at the end. I'm not asking for a decision. I'm just asking for the council to review the resume. And then come next meeting, we can reconvene and talk about it a little bit more, but I want your input, questions, concerns, so that we have everybody engaged as much as possible. The individual who I'd like to nominate with your blessing is going to be Terry Beeson, who has worked on a number of things within the city. But again, just informational, I'll pass this out for everybody here. I'd like to talk about it here in a couple weeks. Do you have any travel requests?
No.
Payment of bills.
Deline so moves.
Boone second.
Deline has made the motion, seconded by Boone, to approve payment of the bills. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our executive session, we have two items, personnel and proprietary. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
Erickson moves to go into executive session.
A motion made by Erickson, seconded by Svagan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Got
Thank you, sir.
leave, Jerry.
That's me, I'm ready to call.
Go trim your trees.
What, executive session minutes?
8:52.
The camera was red. But it's red, is
Yep, red means go, call it.
not blue, is go, sorry. Yeah.
How do I get this company from? I'd like to make a recommendation to end the appointment of the building inspector, code enforcement officer, Mr. Jeff Billingsness.
Dwayne moves to accept the recommendation of the mayor to remove Jeff Billings as the building inspector and code enforcer.
Shot second.
Motion's made by Delane, seconded by Schott to approve the removal of the code enforcement building inspector, Jeff Billingsness. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to make a recommendation to appoint the city administrator and or the finance officer to conduct code enforcement.
Erickson moves to appoint the city administrator and finance officers code enforcement officials.
Shot second.
Erickson has made a motion, seconded by Schott, to allow the city administrator and city finance officer to serve as code enforcement officers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Third, I'd like to make a recommendation for the city administrator to make necessary arrangements for building inspections in the interim of appointing a permanent building inspector.
Boone moves to authorize the mayor or the city administrator to appoint a part-time building inspector until a full-time position can be
Just arrange, probably just arrange for
necessary
inspectors.
arranged for inspections until a full-time position can be appointed.
Wait a second.
Motion been made by Boone, seconded by Spagan to allow the mayor or the city administrator to make arrangements for building inspections until a permanent appointment has been made and approved by the council. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No other business. Call this meeting adjourned.
Boone second.
Motion made by Delane, seconded by Boone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.